Hello grade 2s, welcome back. Today is Tuesday and we're going to continue to talk about time. And just to remind us yesterday, what time is my clock at right now? Can you say it out? What time is it? 6 o'clock. Perfect. When the big hand is at the 12, we're going to say o'clock and the little hand tells us the hour. Now, as the big hand goes around, our clock is a circle. As it goes around, what happens? Yesterday we learned that as it goes all the way around back up to the top, our little hand moves to the next hour, which is 7 o'clock. But there is a time in between this, okay? And last week we talked about a circle and we talked about half a circle. Do you think you could tell me where half of the circle is? I'm going to go back. And I'm going to come down here. So if I go back to my 6 o'clock, and if I'm going to go all the way around, half of my circle is when I go halfway around. And when I go halfway around, my long hand ends up at the 6. And my hour is in between the 6 and the 7. It's not 6 o'clock anymore, but yet it's not 7 o'clock. We call this 6:30. Or you might heard the term 6:30. So we can write it like this: 6:30. And it's half because we know half of a circle, right? This is half of a circle, this whole part down here. So it's half past the 6 o'clock, right? The other way that you can write it in digits is the hour is still 6. It hasn't become 7 yet. ... and then we're going to do a 30 because this, we'll learn later, is going to represent 30 minutes, and that's half. A full way around is 60 minutes, but half of it is 30. We cut it in half, and I'm going to turn there so you can see. Okay, so we can say that this time is 6:30, or we can say it is 6:30, and that's how we would look at it on a clock. Okay, so I'm going to continue going all the way back up. Now that I've hit a complete circle, I'm back up to 7 o'clock. And as I go around, and when I stop at the 6, what's this going to be? This is going to be, I haven't gone around the full way yet. I've only went around half of the circle. So it's 6:30. And which hour? The little hand isn't at the 8 yet, so it's got to be 7. 7:30. And then when I write it, we're in our 7th hour and 30 minutes. So that's how I can write it. I can write 7:30, or I can say it's 7:30. Okay? Now, maybe for you, you wake up at 7 in the morning. And then maybe at 7:30 or 7:30, you're having breakfast. What about if I keep going around the clock? Who can tell me what time this is? This is 9 o'clock, right? And this is when school starts. That we are in the classroom and we're doing our morning warm-up. At 9 o'clock is when school starts. Now, as I keep going around, watching as I go all the way around, we've got up to 10 o'clock, and we would be doing math just like we are. And as I go around and as I stop right here, who can tell me what time that is? Again, it's down at the 6, so it's 6:30. And then what's the hour? The little hand's not at the 11 yet, so it's still the 10th hour. So we would say 10:30, or we say it's 10:30. And that's halfway between 10 and 11. And do you know what we do at school at 10:30? We are going outside for recess. Now, we have our lunch. Do you know what time lunch are? We have lunch at 12 o'clock. Or we could write it like this: 12 o'clock. Okay? We would have our last recess in the day at 2:30, or we would call it 2:30. school is all finished and your parents come pick you up at 3:30 or 3:30. So we now know when the big hand is at the 12, okay, when the big hand is at the 12, we know that's an o'clock. But when it goes halfway around the circle, when it's down at the 6, we know that's 1/2 or 30 if we write it in digits. Okay, so let's open up our textbook to page 64 here. And let's practice, see if we can go through and say what the times are that are on the clock. So the first one says it's 4 o'clock. Then it says it is 4:30. Do you see half of the circle colored in because the big hand's at the 6? Let's go to the next time. Who can say what time that is? 5 o'clock. Perfect. What about this one? It's down at the 6, so it's 1/2. And which hour? The little one's not quite at the 8 yet. It's between the 7 and 8. So it would be 7:30, or we would say 7:30. And down we go down to the bottom one. Our big hand is at the 6 again, so that's going to say 1/2 or 30. And then we look up at the little hand. It's between the 11 and 12, but it hasn't got to the 12 yet, so it must be 11:30 or 11:30. And then if we go to the other page beside it, 65, we've got some more clocks up here. Who can tell me what time this is? 9:30 or 9:30, yeah. What about this one? 10 o'clock. What about this one? 11:30 or 11:30. 12 o'clock. Down here. 1 o'clock. And what about over here? Oh, it's down at the 6, so that means 1/2. And we look up here, it's in between the 1 and 2, so it's not yet 2 o'clock, so it's 1:30 or 1:30. It's gone halfway around before it gets to the 2. Okay? So today your work, you're going to do o'clock and 1/2. You're going to do exercise 45. And again, you're going to match the clocks up with the words. And then over here, you're going to write the times that you see on the clock. And you can do 10:30, or you can write it in the digits. And maybe you can do a combination of both of them for that exercise. Okay? Tomorrow, there isn't going to be a video because you're going to work on review 5 for tomorrow. Okay? So you're going to do review 5 for tomorrow, and I will see you back on Thursday.